Sorry folks, but I forgot to let you know that Tracy Blott did get the wedding of her dreams, and bedding Roland Atkins seems she thought, oh goodness gracious me, I must have won the lottery. But her dream scenario of Roland the Lothario, tamed and trained to walk to heel, turned out not to be the deal. It did in any case entail Roland out still chasing tail. 'Twas vain the bridal acronym AAH, I'll alter him. And thus it was that all too soon Gabby from the greasy spoon, Natalia from the nail bar, Samantha from the cinema, the barmaid from the bird in hand, and even I can understand Flossie, the young dental nurse, but surely nothing could be worse than absolutely on the sly Beryl from the WI wined and dined and wooed by that Roland Atkins. What a rat! Since he didn't give up dating, rumours started circulating. Soon they reached the Twitter sphere, and finally the Vicar's ear. You'll know our Vicar is of course a man of infinite resource, because the God to whom he prays moves in the most mysterious ways. So by chance, the next day drops, through the Vicar's letterbox, a voucher giving 10% off a wine and cheese event at Le Bistro Saint-Germain, just halfway down Gasworks Lane. Friday night, while cheese and wining, Vicar spots that Roland dining with some dolled-up, pretty racy floozy, and it isn't Tracy. Roland thinks she's rather fetching, so wants her to see his etchings, but really that's a metaphor for what he really metaphor. The Vicar watches Roland over dinner show his Casanova side by plying her with oysters and trying all the while to foist her off with some unlikely tale of how his wife was rather frail and suffered with a poorly head whenever it was time for bed, and maybe she could be a stand-in because Tracy didn't understand him. I think that Tracy, truth to tell, understood him all too well. But in this instance he's not lying. Back home, Tracy feels like dying. She's been gastroenterized, bacterially colonized, moaning, groaning, all alone, talking on the big white telephone. Because by chance the previous day a passing pigeon found a way to get into Tracy Atkins' loft, and though it doesn't happen often, in a panic sad to say the passing pigeon passed away. The bird-brained bird had drowned and sank in the Atkins water tank. Pretty soon the Atkins attic got quite strongly aromatic. Worse than that, the corpse was dying, in the tank slowly decaying. Bits of pigeon started gumming up the Atkins household plumbing, Pigeobacter warm and ripe streaming through the water pipe. And so when Tracy thought she ought to have another glass of water, 'cause she needed rehydrating, she was simply aggravating her infected gripey pain. And that's why Tracy heaved and strained. The nights are drawing in, and when he's finished watching news at 10, the Vicar usually must head up the stairs and get in bed. But he thinks he ought to write the St. Bede's newsletter that night. The section, titled Pastoral Care, highlights the various needs for prayer. And Vicar feels it's just the place he should include some words on Tracy. Although he's really very tired, he writes just like a man inspired. The words are sensitive and caring, as they say, just right for sharing. Soon the newsletter is done, then it's time for the photocopier run. But then dreamland overtakes him while the photocopier makes him 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, then 20, 40 newsletters aplenty. Up and up they go the numbers, on and on the Vicar slumbers. With a start he comes awake and mumbles, oh, for heaven's sake. He presses stop. He's got about 1,200 copies to give out. Once the letters got around, Roland Atkins quickly found that the local dating scene was not as hot as it had been. To explain, I think I'd better read that section from the letter. I simply cannot overstate how poorly Tracy is of late. At first just bilious, pale and liverish, now delirious, gabbling gibberish. Scrofulous, pimpled, somewhat lumpish, quite bad-tempered, got the humpish. If you visit, do be cautious. Tracy's still projectile nauseous. It's 3 weeks since she succumbed. The doctor has prescribed her some temazepam and kaolin to stop her nighttime wailing. Antipathogenic drugs to exterminate the bugs. Demicrobic antifungal cream plus scraper for her tongue, all to be taken morning and night until she starts to feel all right. The good news is the doctors tracked it, done their tests, and now they've cracked it. The source of this infection lurks in Roland Atkins waterworks.